To stay organized, we're going to be using Cornell notes, and this is just going to be on Blackboard for you to use as a reference guide whenever you need it. So setting up your paper, the first thing you want to do is divide your paper into 3 sections. The first section will be about 5 to 6 lines from the bottom, and you're going to draw just a horizontal line. And if you don't like drawing freehand lines, you can of course use a ruler or some sort of straight edge. Then you want a vertical line about 2.5 inches from the left side of the paper. Your frame of reference, if you don't want to use a ruler to measure, is the red line is about 1 inch from the edge. You want to double that and just add a little bit more and draw an awesome vertical line. Last thing you want to do with your setup is you want to write the topic at the top of each page. So if you're using multiple pages, make sure that the topic's on every page so that you know what the notes are about. All right. When the paper's been set up, you're ready to start taking notes. On the left-hand side in that column, you're going to write all your key points, your questions, the terms to define, the skills to understand. The right-hand side is the note-taking column. That's where you put your descriptions, definitions, diagrams, or whatever information you're gathering. When you use the note-taking column on the right-hand side, you want to make sure you use a format called telegraphic sentences. Telegraphic sentences simply are concise. That means they're short and to the point, and they contain 5 or less words if possible. After that, you want to skip lines. You need blank space between your ideas and topics, and try not to use complete sentences. You want to use abbreviations whenever possible. You can do this by developing a type of shorthand. The example would be using the ampersand or the and symbol for the word and. So if I'm taking notes on Cornell notes, here's what they might look like. And I am typing them instead of writing them because, as you see, it is difficult to write legibly on the computer. And sometimes I add arrows and things to make my connections easier to see. And then I might maybe underline some key stuff or circle it. And there you have it, an example of taking notes. So it's important to clarify and summarize for a bunch of reasons. Obviously for clarifying the meanings of things, revealing relationships. Relationships are really important to see amongst terms and skills and scientific concepts. You want to establish continuity, so it can be something that you do every single time, so it becomes more of a routine for you. And it definitely will strengthen memory, which is really important in education in general. So as soon as you're done with the lesson, you want to write your summary of the main ideas. You want to write them at the bottom of each page. So in this case, we have 1 page of notes, but if we had 2, we'd write 2 summaries. So the summary goes right down here, and here's a little bit about what the summary might look like for this page. So you can see I just basically kind of summarized the important points of this page, talked about the 3 sections, where they are and where they go, and then talked a little bit about the 2 main points about what telegraphic sentence is and abbreviating. So when you're using these type of notes to study, this makes it pretty easy now that everything's all set up for you. One of the first things you want to do is cover the note-taking section with a piece of paper. And then what you do is you say the key terms out loud and you describe them the best way you can. So I would say key points. Well, they go on the left-hand side. Note-taking goes on the right-hand side. And I have to make sure that I remember that telegraphic sentences are used when I'm note-taking, which are 5 or less words. Spacing, I would talk about spacing being important. You need blank space between topics and ideas. And abbreviating whenever possible, developing a shorthand. How long should you and how often should you use your notes to study? This is a college level recommendation, but since it's kind of good to look at what they're going for in college for most of us. You want to spend at least 10 minutes a week, not that much, and you want to use that time to review the previous notes up until that point for whatever unit or section you're on. And this helps you retain information. Really important. All right, I hope you found this helpful, and feel free to refer back to this whenever you feel a need for a refresher.